Hey everybody, my name is Jennifer. This is Metatron speaking. I'm going to be talking to you today about Nagas, which a lot of you are probably like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And I will explain them in detail because I knew nothing about them prior to this. I want to explain to you how this information came to me. So I was actually trying to channel Thoth or Thoth, the Egyptian god of mystery and time. I had bought this Thoth oil that was like ritual oil, and so I put it on myself, and I was like, I'm gonna see if this works. So I put the oil on like my wrist, and then I was trying to like channel with him and connect with him, and he came in right away. And he showed me a single flame burning, and I wrote down as if it's a ritual to him. So it was almost like he was acknowledging that I'm trying to call him in a special way. Because normally I'm just like, hey, are you there? Do you want to talk? And he had me breathe in the scent of the oil, and then I felt him go into my heart chakra, right? So far I'm like, okay, this seems pretty normal. And we're both kind of smiling at each other. And then he started removing energies that shouldn't be there in my heart chakra and my solar plexus, which again, that's very normal for me, right? Every time I talk to you about me reaching out to a guide that I don't normally speak with, they always do a clearing for me, which is very nice of them. So he's like slowly moving things off of me. And then all of a sudden, I'm just getting this huge download. And it was insane because I knew nothing about these beings prior to this. And by the end of the day, I had background information, I had detailed information, and I knew that it was part of a service, and I was ready to put that service out to the world. So as I go through this information, I think it's going to be fascinating for everyone, no matter what, to be honest. Ultimately, it's going to explain to all of you why I have developed a black magic clearing and protection level 3 service. So I'll talk about that later, but let's just talk about what I learned. So they gave me that word, Naga, and I was like, well, what is that? And so they told me, Google it. So I Googled it, and it's part of like Thai mythology or mythologies that are typically like passed around in Asia. So if you are from Asia, then you probably know what these things are. I'm going to tell you what was told to me. When I Googled it, it was saying like this represents a legendary serpent-like creature, right? So it's snake-like, right? Revered and feared for its mystical powers, these majestic beings, adorned with shimmering scales, have been intertwined with the cultural fabric of Thailand and its neighboring countries for centuries. Nagas are known for their immense strength, ability to shapeshift, and venom so potent that it can kill deities. So there's a lot of information on Google about them, but I'm only sharing with you the information that's on there that Thoth was like, yes, this is true. Because when you Google stuff, sometimes the information gets kind of incorrect, and sometimes people just don't know what's going on. But he's very much verifying all of this information. So these are no ordinary creatures that it could kill a deity. So basically, this is letting us know that this being is cosmic. This is not just like something that incarnates and crawls around on a planet. This is a cosmic energy, and it has massive power. They symbolize both protection and destruction, and are often depicted as guardians of rivers, temples, and treasures. Okay, so now I'm going to start getting into what I was told. So, and this I was able to actually verify some of this back on the internet, which is hilarious. So there are 4 different groups of these Nagas. Nagas, by the way, these are dragons. This is a type of dragon. This is a type of ancient energy. It's a snake. It's very, very snake-like because they have no legs, right? They have no arms, they have no legs. So they just have that long body. But their head is kind of cross between like what we would consider to be like a viper and a dragon. So there are 4 different races of Nagas. I'm going to talk to you about those. They all, to me, look a little bit different. Some of them look a lot more like a viper. Some of them look a little bit more like a traditional dragon without the arms and the legs and very, very skinny. But these are all energetic beings. Okay, so they are categorized into 4 major lineages, distinguished by the color of their scales. So we have gold Nagas with the golden scales. We have green Nagas. We have black Nagas, and we have the multicolored ones, which are rainbow Nagas. That they are like an iridescent white color. These lineages not only differ in appearance, but also in their origins, abilities, and dispositions. Okay, so I'm going to tell you about these 4 different races because it matters. Because it matters. The golden Nagas. So those are seen as like the most powerful ones. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. So the golden ones are considered the most powerful. The rainbow ones are considered to be more rare. They appear during moments of great significance, accompanied by rain and rainbows. Like that's the mythology around them. Yep. The black Nagas are renowned for their strength and combat prowess. Now, the black Nagas, when I see them, those are the ones that are kind of the freakiest. No, they're not freaky. They look more like a viper. They are intimidating because they are about combat and strength, and they are a very powerful energy anyways. But they look to me the most like a viper. Like they don't even really look like a dragon to me at all. They just look like a really big snake. So yeah, so they are the ones with they're beautiful, shiny black scales on them. So yeah, they have an aura of intimidation and power. They are associated with primal energy and raw strength. Whenever you have something associated with primal energy, it's like well beyond the scope of what we can fathom. So, and just to kind of give you some context, if you've ever studied or heard about different things about the planets within our solar system, like you hear about, oh, there's a storm on this planet that's been going on for 400 years, and it's, 100,000 mile per hour winds, and the sun is like this insane temperature, and like all of these things are so extreme in our solar system and in the cosmic realms. And that is a reflection to us of power beyond our comprehension, because our bodies, our 3D bodies, are so fragile, and we can't let our body get too hot, and we can't let our body get too cold, and we're basically like, we're so fragile. So these Nagas energies, these primal energies, are the types of energies that create planets or deal with these cosmic matters. And so it's just an infinitely more intense scale that we are talking about. The green Nagas. These are the ones that humans are most familiar with. So if you look into the Asian mythology, these are the ones that are like interacting with humans the most. These are the ones that are, they have jobs involving like the rivers and the forests and different places on Earth. Let me see. Yeah. Known for their expertise in venom, they are both protectors and warriors. And so this is interesting. I want to tell you this part that I read on Google because it's really important. So many tales about the green Nagas recount them disguising themselves as humans in order to interact with mortals, forming bonds of love and loyalty. So while I have zero evidence that they have ever shapeshifted into a human, some of them have absolutely formed bonds of loyalty and gotten involved in human affairs. And so that's why I want to bring that up. Their proximity to humans have made them the face of Naga imagery in Thai art and culture. Okay, so I channeled Thoth, and he said Nagas are a type of dragon, each lineage living in a different realm. Like they aren't even neighbors or nothing. Like they have totally different jobs, they're in totally different spaces. Each lineage living in a different realm and with a different purpose. Some black Nagas have allowed their power to corrupt their higher purpose, and some green Nagas have become entwined in human affairs, taking them away from their divine purpose. All Nagas are experts with magic, as indicated by their ability to shapeshift, which is the highest form of all magic. When these individual Nagas, who are no longer aligned with their divine purpose, begin interfering in human affairs, they are doing so with their own type of black magic. So this is important because basically Nagas have nothing to do with humanity. They are not supposed to interact with us. They have much bigger jobs on a much bigger scale, and they're supposed to kind of mind their own business and do their own little cosmic thing. However, Thoth is telling us some of the black Nagas got a little bit too much in their ego, and they wanted to impress the humans. And some of the green Nagas got a little too interested in human affairs and started making bonds with certain humans. And I'll cover this more, but basically the green Nagas, they would become loyal to certain humans, and they would kind of reveal themselves to certain humans, and they would see those humans like respond and go, oh, we should worship them, we should honor them. And they liked that. They were like, ooh, yes. And so these Nagas would kind of like have favoritism for these humans that would acknowledge them. And if there were other people who were not treating those people well, then they would kind of want to interfere and cause problems for these other humans that were not, lined up with that loyalty. So they were using black magic in order to interfere with humanity. So this is both the black Nagas and the green ones. Not always, not all of them. Most of them mind their own business and do what they're supposed to be doing. but they all have free will, and some of them got pulled into human affairs. I had to stop channeling Thoth at that point because my head started hurting a lot, which is weird. I suddenly have a headache. It is on the right side on the top of my head. So that's super suspicious for me. So if you've watched my videos before, I am able to channel a huge variety of beings, but I get a whole lot of support, and most of it is in the form of energetic equipment or energetic divine implants that are on the right side of my face, basically. So my right ear and the right side of my face, like this, basically. I have a bunch of energetic equipment that allows me to be able to communicate very easily into like the fifth dimension. But whenever I need to channel someone who's in a different space, higher than 5, higher than 6, higher than 7, if I need to go into 8 or above, they have to add things to me. And so Thoth confirmed he had made a divine implant for me that was being placed in my head in order to help me communicate with the Nagas. So it's like he already knew, you need to talk to them, you need to channel them, you need to know them, but first I got to update your equipment. So I had a headache, and I was like, and it was just all of a sudden really strong right here. And so I asked Thoth, I was like, hey, is it going to mess anything up if I'd like go take something for this headache? And he's like, no, that's fine. Go take something. Took a pain pill. Pain went away, went right back into working. Kind of crazy. So let's see. He shows me that I need to communicate with them because the golden Nagas and the rainbow Nagas will be the ones working with me to undo the black magic that I come across from any Naga source. So I want you to know these guys only because I met them. So there was one female golden Naga and one female rainbow Naga that I communicated with. The golden Naga, so I'm like asking her what her name was, and she said, Luck. I was like, that's a weird name. Okay, Luck. And so I wrote that down, and I was like tuning into her energy. No legs, no arms, long. She is a dragon-headed serpent. And so all of a sudden, this feels super relevant to me because in other videos I've mentioned in a meditation going through a dragon portal, and they showed it to me initially as an Ouroboros, which is a snake, usually, that's biting its tail to make a circle. And so they did all of these Ouroboros in a line, a bunch of them, to show me that this is a dragon portal. And in that meditation, I saw that the snake was not a snake. It was a dragon-headed serpent. And that's the only time I have seen that or been made aware of that. So it was really a big deal for me because it's kind of funny. When I see things in meditation, I see it so clearly with so much detail. And I love those visions because I have no doubt that I've seen the correct thing. When I'm like looking over here and trying to do it, it definitely triggers like my insecurities or my ego or my self-doubt, because my brain will be like, well, did you see that? And now I know I can trust what I see here as much as meditation, but it's such a good feeling. It's such a good feeling to see things in meditation. That's just me, maybe. Okay. So the golden Naga is a dragon-headed serpent. So I'm just like, well, who are you? Because you are what's being represented for a dragon portal. So now this is like, I'm fascinated already. She was a metallic gold, very shiny. Man, I don't have any good examples. They are just metallic. They are the most beautiful metallic, but it doesn't matter what one you're talking to, they all kind of have, well, maybe not the rainbows. The rainbow one actually felt really kind of joyful. The rainbow one felt nice, but for sure the golden and the black had a lot of intimidating energy with them. She is metallic gold, very shiny, with hexagon-shaped scales. What? That was different. That overlap with each other. I asked to feel her energy, and I'm given a visual of dirt, as if I am underground and surrounded by soil. She's showing it to me like it's an underground nest, like this is a place to feel safe and calm. The energy is mostly nondescript, almost like a void, but slightly warm and slightly calm. She radiates energy to me, and my body, which is still underground, begins to feel uncomfortable as roots shoot out through my body into the soil around me as if I am a seed. There is an uplifting and kind energy radiating from her, and then it is gone, and it feels like I am surrounded by night. It is quiet and calm in the darkness, and there is a feeling of safety, though it wasn't like it wasn't an intense feeling. Sometimes, like if you have like an archangel come in and interact with you, or even a lot of like standard dragons, it feels very safe, and it's a nice, strong, wonderful feeling. This one was not overwhelming. It was more subtle. I realize that all her ways of showing me her energy are very subtle, and I realize she is not supposed to interact with humans directly. She interacts with our environment and our world, but she is not meant to interact directly with me or any of you. I feel her energy through the sun and the soil and the darkness of night, but it is only reflecting some of her energy to me. That's why it's all subtle and does not feel direct and strong the way most guides feel. She is not a guide. She is a spiritual entity that has a role that is not meant to overlap with human destiny. How many other beings must be like this, influencing Earth, but doing so quietly, invisibly? Okay, so this shows you, man, this shows you a couple things, right? One, she's not a guide, right? There are all these beings out there that are guides, right? Gods and goddesses and angels and ascended masters and spirit animals and all of these, there's elementals, there's all these different beings that are spirit guides, but there's all these other ones I have no knowledge of, that they're not meant to help humanity get through life, but they've got a job, they've got a role. And you can see how these Nagas are dragons and they are creator energy, because look at that. Their energy is so powerful, so intense, that I can only feel it as a reflection. So think of God, God. Think of source. Think of creator. Same thing. Too strong, too potent. If you stand in their presence, you're gonna just like dissolve. Like you can't do it. And so I can't feel their energy directly because they're too powerful, and so I can only feel it through things they have touched that kind of leave a signature on it. Just like the way there is a signature of creator in everything, right? Every rock, every person, every plant. So I don't know. My mind was blowing up. Okay. I hear a female voice speaking in a language that I do not know. There is an echo or an overlap to her voice, like there are many of her speaking at once. And the phrase that comes into my mind is the voice of many waters. And so I'm like, wait a minute, I know this was in the Bible somewhere. And so I had to like look it up. Let me see. But it was trippy because I've read that line in the Bible back when I used to read the Bible, back when I used to not be awake, but I was Christian. And I very much resonated with the concept of God and Yeshua. But in the Bible, it says something about a voice of many waters. And I was always like, what are they talking about? That doesn't even make sense. Yes, it does. Whoever channeled that did an excellent job because that's exactly, it sounded like the voice was water and like it was echoing and overlapping on itself. It's trippy. But also kind of familiar, which is kind of wild, but it would be familiar for all of you too. So let's see. I looked in her eyes, and there was a single flame in each of her eyes. Like this is like it. I'm sorry. I'm still freaking out about this. I channeled this like a month ago. I'm still freaking out about this because it's so in line with so many like biblical descriptions of God or angels or higher powers from prophets that I'm like, oh man, what were they looking at? Were they looking at a Naga? They could have been. So let's see. Looked into her eyes, and there was a single flame in each. These are elaborate looking vipers. They elicit fear and awe, for the power is obvious. But their intentions seem like either cloaked or unclear. I cannot get a read on their energy easily the way I can other beings. The only other group that is this difficult for me are cosmic dragons, and I'm assuming it's for the exact same reason because they are essentially a type of cosmic dragon. I asked Odin why these groups are hard for me to connect with, and he was telling me, he's just like, oh, like your frequency just isn't good enough yet to like pick up on it fully. He said it takes time to attune to their energy. So I'm like, okay. So I channeled Luck, the golden dragon, and this is what she said. We are creators and destroyers. We have free will. All Nagas do both. So all Nagas create and destroy. But some create and destroy for the benefit of all, and some create and destroy for their ego or for the smaller stories. The smaller stories would be human stories, right? Like, oh, I'm so mad at my neighbor. They are, blah, blah, blah. They're doing this, that, and the other thing. I'm so mad at my neighbor. That would be a small human story that potentially a Naga could get involved in and be like, oh, yeah, well, you're loyal to me, so now I don't like your neighbor either. Well, let me just send something to your neighbor. Just send them some black magic. Smaller stories are the personal struggles or generational struggles that fleetingly pass through a planet. These are misunderstandings, mild offenses, minor power struggles, disagreements between neighbors, irritations between family members. These stories are compelling and serve a purpose for the human within the incarnation, but these are not matters for Nagas. We serve the whole. We serve the entirety of existence. It is not our concern what phase of your journey you are on, or whether you are developing your soul. This is a matter for the angelic realm and many others who act as spiritual guides for humanity. We have a direct link to Source. We embody their full fierceness, and so our power is dangerous and chaotic from your perspective. We serve a purpose just as all do. A few Black Nagas have become drunk with their own power, fueled by their egos. Fame and notoriety entice them out of their divine purpose and into a dangerous space where they willfully engage with human matters. We are beyond the power of gods and goddesses. We are beyond the power of any other being you have known. We use our own judgment. We do not take orders. We do no one's bidding. We are wild and free and untamable. We do not belong as direct players in your matrix. That was my introduction, and I said, what was I saying? Okay, I don't even know what I said, guys. I'm telling you the truth. Apparently I said, do you choose an alliance with me? Like, because they were not acting like my friend. They were acting almost like, they were acting like they wanted nothing to do with me, which I guess is fair. That's their job. They're not supposed to want anything to do with me. But I'm like, hey, are you gonna work with me for this black magic? Because Thoth said you were. So I said, do you choose an alliance with me to reverse where other Nagas have interfered? And Luck says, no alliance, only free will. We enter no contracts. We are masters only unto ourselves. So, that was probably the smartest thing they could have said. He's like, I'm not gonna enter a contract with a human. And I'm like, okay. So then I asked, why are you named Luck? And she says, we name ourselves. We are the energy of fortune and fate, furthering the universal agenda, but not the private agenda. My name is appropriate. I was like, dang. I swear, everything this Naga said to me, I felt like at the end they were like dropping their mic. Like there was just not, like, how am I even going to respond to them? And then I'm trying to clarify stuff. I was like, did Thoth ask you to help with this work? Like, I'm just trying to figure this out. And Luck says, in observing many lives, we at times fail to keep our distance from those who are incarnated. We grow more compassionate for the micro storylines, even though they are none of our business. I have seen the damage done by Nagas who involve themselves. Imbalances have been created. Difficulties have been placed onto souls by no choice of their own. In choosing to intervene, I am choosing to balance energy that never should have been interfered with in the first place. I come to tread lightly, to leave no other footprint. For I step outside the bounds of my purpose to assist you now. I come of my own free will, and I will leave of my own free will. And so, again, this energy is like all power and all sass. And all of a sudden, I must have started attuning to their energy better because I was like, you love me. I was like, I can feel it. It was weird because they were talking to me with one agenda, but energetically all of a sudden I was like, oh, you're pretty loving. You like me. And my God, he's so funny. I keep saying he. So here's the thing. I was told these were female energies, but as I started interacting with them, they're both, which of course it's a dragon. But there was a lot of divine masculine energy coming forward in the conversation, so you'll hear me say he. So I say to Luck, you love me. I was like, I can feel that you love me. And Luck says, may it not be misplaced and lead us both into delusion. So basically, may my love for you not be displaced and lead us both into delusion. I was just laughing. I'm going to tell you what I said. I cussed at the dragon. I said, you talk a lot of shit, but I think you love me. and, and Luck was like, we went back and forth at that point. And I was like, so do you love me? And Luck is like, no. The feeling of their love disappeared at that point, but my knowing of it did not. And so it was fascinating to interact with this being, because I was like, do you love me? And they're like, no. And they pulled back their energy, like they're able to cloak their energy, which I guess we're all able to do that theoretically. But it's a skill set, right? It's a skill set, and it's a higher magic skill set. And, humanity doesn't really know how to do that. And I'm not used to guides doing that, because all my other guides are like happy to share their energy. Okay. Let me see. I told him, you are cloaking your energy. I recognize your energy, even in its absence. And what I was recognizing are components of my other guides that were present in this energy. That's I'll wrap it up there. After that, it was just us kind of chit-chatting for a second, and then it really wrapped up. Let me tell you about Ku, Ku. That is the rainbow Naga that came forward for me. So they're iridescent. They have diamond-shaped scales, which are like flashy, and they had pink eyes. Ku is short for their full name in another language that would probably be hard for me to try to figure out. Ku has a more open and personable energy, which kind of surprised me, because, again, they're not supposed to interact with humans. She makes no attempt to be standoffish the way Luck tried to be. So Ku says, our race interacts with humans indirectly, transmuting energy and bringing blessings and abundance. We have a good dynamic with humanity, for they are always happy to see us. Yet our time with humanity is brief, and only when the timing is right. We do not bring blessings for individuals. We bring blessings for regions, for the land, or even for the planet as a whole. We influence the weather, the rocks, the plants, and the animals with our energy, but not humanity directly. And so I asked Ku, how will you be working with me? And they said, I will be transmuting and clearing the energy created by Luck, interacting with the black magic. So basically, for this session that I have, the golden Naga is the one that has to transmute the energy, because they are the only one with the power to do so. So they are going to transmute it. The rainbow dragon is essentially going to help me clean it up after the fact, transmute it to a different level, and do healing work. Yeah, because they said basically the energies, because you have to think, the black magic that's being dealt with in this session is like just far beyond my pay grade. Like, this is, humanity's never supposed to be dealing with this, because we're never supposed to be dealing with any of these beings. So essentially, even for the rainbow Naga, they told me that the black magic is too powerful for them, without the golden Naga kind of neutralizing it first. So I'm just like, all right, cool. So let me see. Unlike the limited power of other types of black magic that connect with dark galactic beings, this magic connects to raw source power. Raw as in W-A or R-A-W. R-A-W. Raw source power that is beyond the scope of what should be present on Earth or on any planet. We have grand cosmic powers for grand cosmic purposes. This power was never meant to be turned against something as fragile as an incarnated soul. I will provide energies of repair and healing to balance any karmic or universal law energy that was displaced by receiving the black magic. We will work at the quantum level. There are many realms and many different iterations of this black magic. Some are actively given by Nagas, but in other places, the black magic has its own consciousness and its own agenda, acting of its own free will from a place of scorned emotion. This may be harder to imagine, but the rules that govern other realms are much more open than the forced limitations of your galaxy. Okay. Let me tell you about, I'm going to talk to you about the session right now. So for the Black Magic Clearing and Protection Level 3, it's going to be removing Naga's Black Magic, and it's going to be doing a healing to repair and resolve anything that was damaged or imbalanced because of that Black Magic. And then it will also include new energy protections that are coming straight from this golden Naga in order to prevent this from happening in the future. I want to tell you about the types of black magic that are involved. There's something called the Nagas Evil Eye. Nagas Evil Eye. And it reminded me of whatever Lord of the Rings movie that was, where there was like if you guys watched it, you would know. I watched it, but I didn't pay attention because I didn't care back when I saw it. There was like an eyeball. I didn't understand it. I never read the books. There was like an eyeball, and it was like so creepy, and it was like looking around watching people. Now, I don't know what that was for the movie, but this is what it reminded me of. And essentially, the Nagas Evil Eye is not what we consider to be an evil eye. The evil eye, in Earth culture, is a protection against someone's evil eye. In this case, the Nagas eye or Nagas evil eye is an energetic eye, an energetic, focused source of black magic that is turned towards a person, and it's turned towards it's like it has a certain purpose, right? So it's turned towards a certain chakra of yours, typically, possibly multiple ones. Let me see. And so this is Ku talking. A form of Naga black magic creates an energetic evil eye, but instead of protecting you, it is dark and powerful energy turned towards that soul, meant to influence, restrict, or harm. This is given as a punishment by either black or green Nagas to souls to souls that they believe are deserving. It doesn't mean that you were. According to their own ego or emotional alliances with particular humans, or sometimes these Nagas have loyalty to like a certain ancestral line, and so anyone who's perceived as a threat to them might get this black magic. Another type of black magic from the Nagas are something called biting mouths. And so this is the black magic that they were referencing that has its own consciousness. So this is wild because I have seen biting mouths in my meditation the whole time I've been meditating. Now, I don't see them every time, but basically And I'm if you have seen these before in your meditation, please tell me. I don't know if they only showed it to me because they knew I was going to be working on these in the future, but basically it's like a disembodied mouth. It's like just a mouth. There's no face, there's no head, there's no nothing. It's just a mouth, and it's going, and you can see it has these like super sharp teeth. And when I'm meditating, it's always at the beginning of my meditation, right? So, like, when you first start your meditation, you are in the 3D, you're in like the astral realm, kind of equivalent. And it takes me a second to get into a higher space where I can see cooler stuff. But a lot of times at the beginning of my meditations, I would see like dark shadow figures come towards me, or I would see like groupings of these mouths trying to bite me. And if you watched my more recent-ish video where I talk about going into that dragon portal, as that dragon portal shifts and starts sending me down into the first dimension, I had those biting mouths come at me again. So biting mouths reside in the astral realm, but also in other realms of existence. These are the conscious beings I spoke of, acting of their own free will from a place of scorned emotion. You have seen them, he's talking, or she's talking to me. You have seen them many times in the astral realm during meditation until your frequency would align you higher and beyond their grasp. And so then I had to ask, like, did I get black magic from those? Because those came at me a lot in the past. And Ku was telling me, hey, like, yeah, you did get harmed from them at certain points. So I had to do this black magic clearing on myself, of course. Let me see. These are entities created by Nagas, magnetized to those who they perceive as enemies. And so that's why every time I entered their space, they were like, whoop, there she is. We know this one. In the past, I don't remember writing this. In a past lifetime, not on Earth, you were disliked by a powerful man, and he summoned any powerful being who was willing to help him. From his ego, a black Naga stepped forward, wanting to impress the man and become famous in human history. These entities were activated and created in that lifetime with the desire to hunt you down and make you pay. Oh my God, I'm just going to keep reading because apparently I kept asking about this. I said, did I wrong the man in that lifetime? And Ku says, his son loved you and was inspired to make changes in his life that his father did not agree with. The father felt wronged by me. He felt I was attacking his family and leading his son into darkness. He was afraid of the change that you were bringing into his son's life. And then he says, you are an agent of change, helping some through inspiration and antagonizing others through their resistance to change. This is not through any direct intention of my own. This is merely the state of my energy. But he believed that I was maliciously targeting him and his family. Okay. The biting mouths restrict the throat chakra by trying to recalibrate certain frequencies from it to be less powerful. It can also keep energy stuck in the throat, not allowing it to flow freely. Okay. You see, there are two other things cleared in this session. Another one are entities called Noma Mims. These come from the Green Nagas. It was a trip because the other day, like it was probably the day before I channeled this, I was meditating and I saw these like, I don't know, they're probably like this big and they're kind of round and they kind of looked furry and they had sharp teeth. And two of these came up to me and one of them, they both grabbed onto my ankles, right? One of them per ankle. And I was like, what in the world? And so now, after this, I knew what it was. Entities called Noma Mims are created by green Nagas. They are like ankle weights, making it harder for the body, mind, and soul to move forward and function according to the person's will. Despite their location of being on the ankles, they impact the willpower of the solar plexus. And so he's just showing me like, look, removes these. Okay. And then the last thing that came up was actually something that came up during one of my client sessions. I was talking to a client on Zoom, and maybe towards the end of the call, I started recognizing that they had something that kind of looked like screws in the bottom of their feet. And I was like, I don't know what these are. I was like, let me try to take them out. So I tried to take them out. Once I channeled this, now I knew what that was about. So black magic from the green Nagas can also be present in the feet, which impacts your root chakra, or in your armpits, which impacts your heart chakra and your lymph system. And they're seen as screws. These tend to cause physical problems, but can also contribute to not being able to focus energy in the way it is needed to clearly manifest goals. Okay, this is all the information I can possibly give you at this point, at least, on the black magic clearing level 3 session. If you're interested in that, I will link that below this video. It is a prerequisite or a requirement that you take the black magic clearing level 1 and level 2 before you take level 3. There's a reason why they need to go in that order. The highest priority is always going to be the level 1 session. If you have watched this video this whole time, I would like to reward you with an opportunity to get a free black magic clearing and protection session. So whether you need the level 1, whether you need the level 2, whether you need the level 3, I would like to offer that now. I'd like to offer that to 2 people. So if you are interested, please indicate in the comments that you would like the chance to win the free session. And whatever that session is for you, I will set you up with that. If you are the winner, I'm going to pick 2 winners. So I will probably do that in about a week. If you end up with the Black Magic level 1 session, there is a Zoom call with that one. I am no longer doing Zoom calls for the second one because it's so much information. I can't go over it all. And there's no Zoom call on the third one, depending on which one you need. So if you're interested, please enter below. If you are interested in doing Susan's Portal Day Amplifier session, that is coming up super fast. You have to have that scheduled with her probably by December 11th, because it starts on December 12th. So if you want to do that session with her, please reach out right away, get that situated. And other than that, thank you for sticking with me through this. I want to send love to all of you, and I'll see all of you next time. Bye-bye.